And Gaza is run by Hamas, a Palestinian group that Israel and the US consider terrorists. Now, after all the violence in East Jerusalem, the top commander of Hamas warned Israel that it had until 6 p.m. that Monday to withdraw its security forces from the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound and Jerusalem's Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. When the deadline passed, Hamas fired rockets into central Israel, and Israel's military attacked. They destroyed this building after warning people inside to leave. Then Hamas responded again.
This is a wave after wave of attacks coming out of Gaza now. These rockets are heading in the direction of Tel Aviv.
From there, it just got worse. Relentless air attacks by the Israelis and thousands of rockets launched by Hamas. Most of those rockets were shot down by Israel's Iron Dome defense system. But in Gaza, there's nothing like that.
Reports continue of families, women, children, and infants killed in their homes by airstrikes.
One Israeli attack hit a refugee camp, killing 2 women and 8 children from the same family. Several buildings were targeted, including one that housed the offices of international media, like the Associated Press and Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera's offices, there we are, another strike on that tower. And the tower has come down.
The impact will be to reduce the flow of information coming from Gaza.
Israel says it's only targeting fighters and military assets, and it accuses Hamas of hiding them among civilians and in residential buildings. But here's the thing about Gaza.
When you bomb a densely populated area such as Gaza, there are going to be civilian casualties no matter what.
With all this going on in Gaza, over in Israel and the occupied West Bank, we've been seeing something we rarely see. Thousands of Palestinian citizens of Israel taking to the streets in towns, villages, and what are known as mixed cities to assert their identity and rights. But it has also seemed to trigger some Palestinian Israelis and Jewish Israelis to start attacking each other. There are many horrible videos posted online of Arabs being beaten up in the street, businesses smashed in, and vehicles and a synagogue set on fire.
It's the worst between communities living alongside each other in decades.
So how does this all end? Well, a ceasefire for Gaza is the first essential step, and the UN, Egypt, and Qatar have all been involved in international mediation efforts to make that happen.
We also urge them to allow us as a humanitarian to move and to provide our emergency response.
A ceasefire is only the beginning, because events over the last few weeks are set against a backdrop of decades in which the Israeli government has denied Palestinians their basic rights. It's a system that Human Rights Watch and others have described as apartheid.
They are not equal or full citizens. Indeed, they're incredibly marginalized and discriminated against.
The US, as Israel's most important ally, has a special role to play in this. People are looking to President Joe Biden to see whether he'll say or do things differently from previous administrations. He hasn't so far.
My expectation and hope is that this will be closing down sooner than later. But Israel has a right to defend itself when you have thousands of rockets flying into your territory.
But we've been here before. And to avoid being here again, something has to change.
The only way that this will end is with full decolonization, Palestinian liberation.
The divide is not necessarily right now between Jews and Arabs. It's between those who believe that can be a coexistence, reconciliation, that the two people can live in peace in the same land, respecting each other, and those who don't think like this.
Right now, that idea of peaceful coexistence may seem impossibly far off, but the answer can't be to just keep going like this.